Hello everyone, it's Mari here for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be creating this card for you that you see on the screen here, and I'm going to be working with a bunch of new products from Honeybee, including the gorgeous Daisy Lattice stencil set. This is a set of 3 layering stencils that allows you to just create the most beautiful background. I'm going to start off with some really pretty grassy knoll green ink from Pink Fresh Studio. I'm going to blend that onto my white cardstock through the stencil, and it doesn't really matter what order you use these stencils in, but I wanted to start with the green background layer first, and so I'm working my ink over the stencil, which is taped onto a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just using my waffle flower stencil mat here to help me with this process. And so you can just see that tape at the bottom of the stencil. I have this just taped to the mat, and I'm just gently doing a clockwise and counterclockwise motion through the stencil with my ink. And this is just going to transfer that ink through the openings of the stencil just to create my first layer of ink for my background. And when I do the peel reveal here, you'll just be able to see how pretty this bright green ink is. And I'm going to pair that up with some other really pretty, bright and springy colors. So this is the next layer, and this layer is actually going to add the little petals of the flowers, and I'm going to use a really bright pink. This is called Raspberry Bliss, again from Pink Fresh, and you can just see how it's just like a beautiful fuchsia color. It's really, really pretty. And again, just using that clockwise and counterclockwise motion through those openings in that stencil to transfer that ink. And these stencils are so easy to layer together. They're very easy to line up. I love these clear stencils because you can see right through to where you've stenciled previously. It makes lining them up really, really, really easy. So the last stencil here that I'm going to use is the third stencil from the set, and I'm going to use this for the centers of my florals. I'm going to use a little bit of stencil butter in marigold. You could use any type of color of paste for your flower centers that you might like. I just thought the orange was really pretty with the pink and green, and it's a really nice, pretty, bright color. This is just going to add a little bit more texture than just using ink, and so this is just going to finish off the centers of each one of those little florals in a really pretty and fun way. And so I'm just taking my texture paste and that palette knife and just scraping it across the stencil. Again, I had that stencil taped to the bottom of the paper. Now here you can just see that's all finished up. I'm going to completely let that dry off camera. And now I'm going to take the Garden Bouquet collection. This is so adorable. I love it. This collection includes 3 different pieces. These are all sold separately. This is the stamp set, which includes a bunch of really great sentiments. There's a coordinating die, and there's also a coordinating set of stencils. So really, really fun. You can use these stencils to color in these images, which is super fun. So what I'm doing is lining up this first one here. Now this stencil set is actually a set of 2 stencils, but each one of the stencils has 2 stencils on it. So in effect, you actually get 4 stencils all together. And this first layer I'm going to use here to color in the leaves on the little bouquet. I love this image. I think it's super adorable. I think it's genius that you've got like the little carrots at the bottom and then the beautiful florals at the top, separated by that really pretty bow. So really cute. Had so much fun with this one for sure. So now I'm just going to go ahead and line up the second stencil, which is just to the right on that same piece of stencil. And so I'm just going to line that up, make sure that I have everything in the right place. And again, just tape that down at the bottom. And I wanted, of course, to choose inks that are going to coordinate with my background that I've created already. So the green that I used is that grassy knoll again. I'm using here some clementine ink from Pink Fresh Studio. And I'm also going to use a little bit of Simon Says Stamp Mandarin ink as well, just to brighten up the orange a little bit as well. So I'll start off here with the clementine and get just my base layer of the orange with that color. And then I'll go in with that really bright mandarin and just add just a few little bits here and there of that brighter ink on the edges of some of those different little orange areas. And again, that's just going to brighten that up a little bit. I love how that adds just a little bit of dimension as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on the third layer. And this is going to give me the first layer for my florals. And I'm going to use that really bright pink again. I'm going to use that Raspberry Bliss color for the first layer of the florals. And I think actually this is the first layer of the bow as well. And you can just see how really bright and pretty, again, that beautiful pink is. Just going ahead with those little clockwise and counterclockwise motions to make sure that I work the ink into all of the different areas of the stencil so that I don't miss any of the little floral bits or that bow to get those added in. And you can vary the intensity of that ink by the pressure that you're putting on your brush, as well as the amount of ink that's in your brush as well. So now I'm going in with a lighter pink. This one is Paintbrush Bubblegum, and I'm just adding with the last stencil some details to the florals and to the bow. And this is just going to add, again, a little bit more depth and dimension just by varying the intensity of the color. So that lighter pink is just going to finish that off. And there you can just see how stunning that is when it's all finished. Now I cut down my Daisy Lattice stenciled piece so that what I ended up with is a piece that's going to add or just give some quite a white margin on the sides. You'll see how I fill some of that area in here in a bit, but it's 1/4 of an inch smaller than my A2 size card base on the top and bottom, but the sides are closer to 1/2 an inch in total there, so that I've got a wider white space so far. Now this die here is from the Spring Vine Layering Frames. I love that set so much. I think it's actually my favorite thing from the spring release. It is just so amazing. I'm just going to fumble with that a little bit there. Now I did add some foam adhesive to the back of this piece that I've die cut from white cardstock, and I've added that onto the focal point area centered on my card front so far. Now I'm going to take a little bit of dull pink cardstock. This is a Simon Says stamp cardstock that I've cut into a really skinny little piece. It's about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to put that on either side of that Daisy Lattice stenciled piece in the front in the middle section of my card front here. So I'm going to add these little pink strips just on either side, and just adding my Honeybee liquid adhesive here to the back of this cardstock to add that on. And I just thought that just kind of nicely finished off the sides of that stenciled piece there. I just felt like it really kind of draws your eye into that Daisy Lattice stenciled paper and just kind of finishes off the edges in a really nice way. So that's why I added that. Now I am going to put some foam adhesive on the back of my floral carrot bunch, and I'm going to make sure that I've got some foam adhesive down there on the very bottoms of those carrots as well. And once I've got the backer off of that foam adhesive, I'm just taking my Honeybee reverse tweezers. I'm going to add that onto that gorgeous die cut white piece that I added previously. This is a sentiment from the Garden Bouquet set, and it just says thanks a bunch. I thought that was really adorable. I always need thank you cards in my card stash, and so that is a sentiment that I chose. So I'm going to just take that and put that onto my little carrot area there. I did stamp that sentiment out in black ink, and I used the coordinating die to die cut that out. And I'm finishing off my card with a little bit of gold stickles just to the centers of the little florals in the bouquet. Friends, I did link up in the description box below to all of the products that I've used in the Honeybee shop. I hope you were inspired by my video today. I really love how this sweet little card turned out. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.